Jazz Tonight is presented by New Ways, a better choice, a better life.
Good evening, welcome to the Delta Center. The view from Sky 2, the fans rolling into tonight's game, looking at the new statue. Karl Malone honored at the plaza, along with John Stockton. Stockton to Malone, forever immortalized out in front of the Delta Center. Former teammates, Jeff Hornacek among those on hand tonight. Look at the crowd. Freebies, get them while they're hot. And our commemorative little bobbleheads and statuettes.
Isn't that older colonies?
Is that OP? Hey, Pace and Curl. The jerseys are up in the rafters. Karl Malone's jersey next to John Stockton's, waiting to be revealed at halftime tonight as the Jazz get ready to face the Washington Wizards. Might as well be the Washington Generals and the Harlem Globetrotters tonight. It has the air of exhibition. It feels more like a party here than a game. A crucial game as the Jazz try to catch the Kings, who are coming in Saturday night for a playoff berth. But it's all about John and Karl tonight, guys.
It's all about John and Karl, but then it's one thing that the Washington Wizards are hoping too, that the players get caught up in all this and that the Wizards come in and steal one.
Hey, don't sleep. They're 34 and 32 right now, the Wizards are, and obviously they want to take advantage of this night.
Do you guys, as former teammates of Karl's, you have great memories, great stories of him that you can share?
No.
No. You have nothing?
It's funny because as players, I don't think you like to reveal a lot of stories about ex-players, what happened. You talk about Karl, everybody knows the story about, Fred and I were actually on the float with him the day he thought it was for his birthday on July 24th, and it was before his rookie year, and so it was funny. He said, hey, it's amazing they got all this together for me. And I looked at him and thought, yeah, it really is. And we let it go because we didn't want to burst his bubble, but I don't know if you have anything.
There's a lot of great stories.
Yeah. And we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, that's it. No, I just remember Karl when he came in, as a player. The first free throw I think I ever saw him shoot,
had to go there.
He shot about 2 feet short, and I'm thinking, they drafted this kid, what? And I look back on that and I look at how he's matured and being able to play with him for 8 years and what he's become.
Craig Bolerjack, Ron Boone getting ready to call the game. They are down on the court, and let's go down to them right now, guys.
All right, thanks a lot, DJ. Some great stories. Big T, we'll have to talk to you a little bit later to fill us in on a few others. Booner, you've been courtside 15 of 18 years. Karl Malone calling games with Hot Rod. What do you remember?
Well, I think my story is about as similar to Thurl Bailey's, because this is the guy when I first saw Karl Malone out there on the floor, that muscular body, I thought, okay, this is a bully in the league that can't shoot free throws. I mean, he proved that he couldn't shoot free throws, but I thought maybe 5 years at the most for him in the league. But then Karl Malone smartened up, and the guy developed into a fine player, worked very hard over the summer, developed the jump shot. A turnaround jump shot or even facing the basket, and I think that prolonged his career and turned him into the player that he was, the great player that he is.
And Booner, from the media standpoint, when I came to Salt Lake in 1985, I saw that same thin player who blossomed into a huge power forward, but it's about durability. I was always surprised that he answered the bell each and every night. 1,434 games played. Remember, missed only 6 games, but 4 of those were due to league suspension, and we're talking elbows that were thrown a few times. Isaiah and the Admiral, just to name a few. And also, I think the ability to connect with the fans. I'd say the ultimate showman, Karl Malone. There's that famous smile. Of course, he would wink at the most opportunistic times. And of course, Malone also was something new around the NBA. It was called strength and power. He would flex those pecs. It was a love-hate at times, but no Jazz player in my book ever had a better connection with fans, Booner. He just had a magical presence about him, and he knew how to use it.
Well, he really did. There was a lot of players and maybe some fans that didn't like him, but would love to have had him on their team.
All right, let's take you back upstairs. A big night ahead. Can hardly wait to halftime. And I'm sure a lot of emotions will be pouring out. Larry Miller and the rest. Guys, back up to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Craig Bolerjack, Ron Boone. They'll be back at the top of the hour with the call of the Wizards and the Jazz here on K-Jazz. We're going to continue in a moment with John Stockton, Karl Malone, Larry Miller, NBA Commissioner David Stern is going to join us as well. It's a big night. Stay with us. Right now, we'll take you back to the night it all started.
Mailman.
Are we going?
I give Karl Malone a hard time because that saved me. I had the worst suit in NBA draft history, but that suit right there saved me. That's the worst suit in NBA draft history. Thank God. Thanks for bailing me out, Karl.
He said it was the worst in NBA
That's Charles
history.
Barkley talking about Karl Malone on draft
Do I
night.
hear something? No.
Yeah, that was just Charles lighting you up for the suit on draft night, saying he had the worst one, and you stepped up and saved him.
Well, that's the worst thing been said about me.
Karl Malone jersey retirement night here at the Delta Center. The mailman joins us now along with Jazz owner Larry Miller. Are you a little, Karl, does it seem like this is a dream, or does it seem like it's really happening? Everybody's saying nice things about you all day long, huge crowds. Everybody roared when you came over here. There's people hanging off the balcony above us.
Well, you want to say warm things about you, but they don't. You can't do nothing about it. But I'm just, you know what? I'm just taking in the moment. I'm living in the moment. Get to see a lot of friends. A lot of friends came from back home. It don't seem. It still seems like I'm still playing, but it's 2 years now, and life is really good. I'm very happy with family here, but just a lot of going on non-stop. Just the schedule, which I've been so proud of not having. And all of a sudden I get thrown into one, but it's been great. It's just been awesome. It's been like I don't know if dream is the right word. It just don't seem real, but this is it. So.
Karl, what went through your mind today when they unveiled the statue, and what were your first thoughts when you saw it? And
well, place to be honest, a lot of people get jersey retired, but the statue was just something different. We never go out to say be put on a pedestal. It just happened like that, and for that moment, it was like, I don't know, it was bigger than life is not the right thing, but it was just the statue itself was overwhelming to me, and to say my grandkids and their kids and hey, that was my grandpa there, or that's how big it was. The jersey to me is awesome, but it's inside, and you have to come inside the Delta Center, which is a great place. But to see a statue that, I got my own way to celebrate, and I'm not going to share it. But before I leave here, I know how I want to share that statue. And to be there with Stock and his family and my family, and just see how they've grown, man, that's unreal. When you talk about a dream that right there is, to me, is unbelievable.
First of all, congratulations, Karl, on this day, man. I want to ask you about retirement, because I know when I retired, even though I knew what I wanted to do afterwards, there was a period in there when I woke up in the morning, didn't have to go to practice. There was a transitional period in there before I got doing what I wanted to do. How was that for you?
Daryl, it's the same. It's the same for everybody. That clock, October 4th, it still ticks all of the time. But then all of a sudden you say, I don't have to be anywhere. And you're waiting on the phone to ring where somebody say, hey, you're supposed to be there, because as athletes, it's a schedule, and you program, and at 1 o'clock, I still get sleepy for those naps.
You mean Larry hasn't called yet?
No, he know that's one of them. Larry, please don't make me say no. With Larry, it's hard to say no, but I said, Larry, please don't put me in that spot, and he happens. So, but it's like that for an athlete. But I realize this right here. It is more. My kids are growing, and they're growing up, and you start to put things in perspective, and basketball was a great part of it, but then you have to move on, and that's where I'm at in my life.
Larry, have you ever figured out what Karl's really been worth to the franchise? I mean, you're a numbers guy. Could you put a dollar value on that?
I don't think there's any way. I really don't. I've been asked that. I've thought about it quite a bit, and I think the problem with it is trying to quantify it objectively in numbers might be possible. I don't know how you do it, but the subjective value, the emotion he's brought, the charisma he's brought, the success to the franchise, the toughness he's brought, you know, it's just, it's not measurable, but I will tell you that it's enormous.
Larry Miller, Karl Malone, it is a big night here at the Delta Center. John Stockton, NBA Commissioner David Stern are going to join us in just a few minutes. Right now, the other half of the TNT team, Kenny Smith, with a few words about Stockton and Malone.
And that a simple play that everyone knows the name of gets put with two people. You know, the sky hook is Kareem, the dunk is Michael Jordan, but the pick and roll is Stockton and Malone.
He'll bounce it to the ball. In your face, mama. Screen, Stock goes left to right, rolls the crowd, great feed, hammer dunk, Stockton to Malone.
You got to be able to say it like it's one word, you know. And I'll tell you what, I've said it a million times.
Stockton behind the back dribble, gets away from Fisher, drive it over to Karl, to the hoop, hammer dunk, Stockton to Malone, at their ever-loving best.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the Delta Center. Tonight, John Stockton's jersey will go up in the rafters. Karl Malone's jersey goes up next to John Stockton's jersey tonight. It's a big night here at the Delta Center. You see Karl's veiled jersey up there, and Karl has given John a hard time off camera up until the very last segment. Guys, I wonder, I think a lot of Jazz fans wonder, do you guys still pick up the basketball? Do you still play a little bit?
I do. It's a little bit different level of competition, but I keep playing.
Who do you play with?
A bunch of teenagers, ex-Gonzaga guys. We get together on Sundays and have a pretty rugged game of hoops going, actually. Full court.
Schooling them still, too, huh?
If I can. I'm trying like crazy.
Did you pick up the ball much, Karl, or no? Nope.
Nope. Didn't in the off season. I'm retired. I don't now. I play with my kids occasionally out on the court, but no. I just don't.
You know, it's interesting. There was one night all you guys were together for the first time, and I think it was actually captured on video. Mercifully, I was nowhere to be seen. Take a look at some of this video. This is way back in the day, and I think Pace Mania is going to be sitting next to Karl on the bench. Frank's got something to say. Oh.
Karl just missed some free throws, obviously.
Nice throw, Pace.
Thank you.
What do you guys remember about this, or do you remember it?
You know, I wish they would bring those shorts back, too, man. John, I appreciate you taking them out as long as you could.
Oh, this has to be the playoffs.
This is when
This is when Whopper took the punch.
This is Karl's first game. I guess it must, I don't know if it's a preseason game or the first regular season game.
Regular season.
Big T. Like looking at a time machine, guys?
Sure does.
Everybody's a little thinner. Everybody's, hey, John, coming here today, what was it like coming back? You had this done for you a year ago, and now Karl's having it done. What was it like coming back for him?
Well, first of all, it's a lot more fun.
Because we know you love all of this.
Oh, yeah. He's in the hot seat now, and I get to kind of relax and joke about it and mess with him all day long. But it's neat to – he deserves everything people are honoring him with. As you guys know, great teammate, great friend, and it's special when you get to be out there and see the statue be unveiled, and it's somebody that you think so much of and you admire receiving it. So it was a terrific day for me.
Well, first of all, I played with you for 9 years. I played with Karl for 8 years, and there's a lot of great memories. And people think that, we have a family in the locker room, and people think that it's all good all the time. I've got a kind of terrific question for you. I think in all the years I played, I had one spat with you, and I had one spat with you in all the years. Do you remember? You remember when that was?
I remember ours.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Where were we?
I don't remember what city it was, but it had to do with getting the ball.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's a good memory.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is I got here a year before you did, and I got here 2 years before Karl. And it's just amazing to me to see from beginning to end, because you guys were sponges when you got here. You were learning from Ricky Green. You were learning from AD. Well, I appreciate that. But, I mean, what an honor to just be a part of you guys' careers. But my question to you guys is that, sorry about my earpiece. These things are terrible.
Told you.
But you talked about last year, a few years ago, when you were here, about players today and how we were when we were traveling, when there wasn't any charters, that was just riding on a commercial plane and the bus, how we got to know each other. Talk about that difference between what we did and now what players do.
Well, I think it was pre-cell phones. I guess earphones in general were kind of, they weren't as prevalent as they are now. We'd get on the bus. We had time to eat together after games because you had nowhere else to go and nobody else to eat with. You sat there and you talked about the game. You talked about each other. You made fun of each other. You talked about families. I really cherish those times and look at those as the good old days because I did get to know my teammates. And towards the end of our career, when the cell phones were on the bus all the time, and you're trying to communicate about whatever, maybe it's life, maybe it's a game, maybe it's whatever, and a guy's on the cell phone. I said, you guys are missing so much here. And that was a frustrating part to watch at the end. I don't think it's an indicator of a good person or a bad person. I just lament that it's gone to that, and that these young players miss out on that.
That translates to what happens on the court too, doesn't it?
Well, I'm gonna add on to that too. Back in those days, you could joke about anything. We could joke about each other. We could joke about each other's family, but we respect each other enough that we could do that. Nowadays, you can't talk to a person about what they wearing, let alone anything else. And how many times toward the end of my career that we got on the elevator and here's a kid with his earphones on. If the elevator was ready to fall and the guy came on the PA, they would know it. And you miss so much. But we had a respect for each other that you just don't see it anymore. And you can talk about it any way you want to. It's just that we respect each other's game on the court as well as off the court. And that's one of the biggest differences that I see.
If it's possible, enjoy the rest of the night. I know John will. We'll see if you can. A big deal coming up at halftime.
I'm proud of this fella right here. He dressed just like this for me.
Right now we have Pat Riley, a little bit looking back on Karl Malone and what it meant to the Jazz.
Back to the free throw line, right side of the mailman. Score! Foul to Bar.
The thing about both those guys is they didn't talk. They weren't shaking people's hands and they patting the opposition on the butt and picking guys up off the floor and saying hello to coaches. They wanted to win. You were the enemy.
I would have liked that one. We're back here live. We heard a lot of reflections from former players who played with Karl Malone. Now we want to hear from some current Jazzmen and their remembrances of the mailman. The first sign of what was to come went up in the morning.
Actually, I haven't seen him yet.
Then the current Jazzmen told us about the first time they intersected with a Karl Malone drive.
Oh, I definitely got a couple of bruises from it, but it was nothing serious. We just had a good time, and obviously at that time they were better than we were in Cleveland, so they came in with the victories.
He's almost 40 years old, and he's diving for every ball like a young kid. I was like 20 years old at that time. I was like, gosh, how he can do that? I'm 20 and I couldn't run so fast like he did.
When he stepped on the floor, he might be upset with me, might be upset with Larry, might be upset with something that's going on, but when he stepped on the floor, he's second to none.
He was just savvy. I mean, down the stretch of games, he took the game over. Always savvy, always in control, always exuded confidence in his teammates. Just the whole package.
And while everyone else gets caught up in remembering the past, the present players still have a playoff chase to worry about.
Any pressure tonight? You can't lose on Karl Malone night, can you?
We did with Joe Stockton night.
We definitely want to win the game, for us and for him. That definitely, make the night much more special, for us to get a victory.
Just to give you an indication of how things have changed in just 2+ years since Karl Malone retired or left the Jazz, just 4 members from those teams remain with the Utah Jazz: Greg Ostertag, Jaron Collins, Matt Harpering, and Andre Karolinko. We'll be back live from the Delta Center in just a moment.
Congratulations, Karl Malone, 1996-97.
The 1998-99 NBA MVP, Karl Malone of the Utah Jazz.
Welcome back to the Delta Center. NBA Commissioner David Stern handed over a pair of MVP trophies to Karl Malone, and the commissioner's in town for Karl's big night tonight here at the Delta Center. The Jazz and the Wizards tipping off in a few minutes. The commissioner has been very busy today, able to give us a few minutes of time. Thanks for joining us.
It's a fun day.
I wonder, because so much of what you have to do is looking forward to the future of the league and planning for the future, and yet you're taking time out to honor a guy who represents the NBA's past. What do the players of the past, what do they mean to the future of the league?
If you're an NBA player, if you don't have a respect for the history and tradition of the game, then you're not a complete NBA player. And we and our fans always look back as well as looking forward. So it's really just part of this family. And that's why, for example, All-Star Weekend is so great. There are all the contests, there's the All-Star Game, but there's the ingathering of the Retired Players Association. Come on in. And so I consider it to be vital to honor our rich tradition, and there's nothing richer in the way of tradition than Karl Malone's career.
I know you want to talk about your horse game later with Commissioner.
We'll get to that in a minute, yes.
Thurl and I had the opportunity to play internationally. John and Karl playing on the Olympic team with the original Dream Team. What did they do as far as your global plan?
In 1992, and people forget, we went to the Tournament of the Americas in Portland to qualify, and the games were stopped so that the Brazilian team could get the autograph of our guys, you know, stand together with them. Oh, thank you, sir, foul me, do it again. You know, post that, it's now 19, you know, by the year whatever it is now, 2004, we were in some trouble in Athens. Why? Because the world, inspired by that Dream Team and telecast of NBA games that came after it, wound up making great strides in the playing of the game. They paid America the greatest compliment. They took its game and they adopted it as their own. So, and that was very much a Dream Team inspired event.
Commissioner, we've got about 40 seconds left, but I wanted to ask you about ambassadors of the game. You know, when I came into the league, it was Magic. Magic kind of handed it to Michael. Who do you see as maybe that baton being passed to?
I think it's too much to ask of one person. We've got 30 franchises. We have franchise players on virtually every team.
People.
Shaq, LeBron, Dwayne Wade, Kobe, you name it. We've got lots of Tim Duncan. We've got lots of eligible players. An entire Detroit team. So we're really in a good way. And 82 of those NBA players who are different kinds of ambassadors were born outside this country, which again gets you back to the 1992 Dream Team, because they just developed so much faster than we thought they would.
The Commissioner, David Stern, Karl Malone, John Stockton, Larry Miller. Big halftime show coming up. Stay tuned. The Jazz and the Wizards are next here on K-Jazz. Commissioner, thanks for joining us, and enjoy the game.
Thanks.
Where'd you play?
This night belongs to Karl Malone, a small-town kid from Louisiana who would forever change a franchise.
The Utah Jazz are very happy to announce that we're going to bring a mailman.
We got a lot of rebounds left over. Can you get them for us? I'll take it.
From that night on, the mailman would grow into the most dominating power forward the game has ever seen.
Congratulations for 2 gold medals. Congratulations for 10 All-Star appearances. Congratulations, Karl Malone, 1996-97.
The 1998-99 NBA MVP.
Looking for Karl, now he's got him low. Here it is, Karl on a hand scoop. Here it is, the mailman. It's now the second leading scorer in the history of the game.
For 18 seasons, Malone delivered with the number 32 on his back, and tonight that number takes its rightful place next to another future Hall of Famer. It's time to play Jazz basketball. Karl Malone is back in town. It's the mailman's day. And earlier, his deliveries forever cast in bronze for all to see outside the Delta Center. A special moment for Malone, his family, and yes, Jazz fans. And tonight, during halftime, number 32 will be unveiled. Stockton and Malone together again. As the sun sets in Salt Lake City, the silhouette of Karl Malone, forever immortalized in bronze, that was unveiled just after 5 o'clock this afternoon, and forever he'll be alongside his running mate, John Stockton, outside the Delta Center. Inside, a sellout crowd expected for the Jazz and the Washington Wizards. Utah 32-35 on the season. The Wizards roll in at 34-32. Time now for the country music star Neil McCoy and a good friend of Karl Malone's, who will entertain us tonight with the national anthem.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Delta Center for NBA basketball. Before player introductions, please rise and honor America, as well as saluting the men and women serving our country. As tonight, 903 recording artist and very close personal friend of the Malone family, Neil McCoy, sings our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Ladies and gentlemen, recording artist
Neil McCoy with tonight's national anthem. We'll come back to the Delta Center. Stay tuned. Big game, big night. Karl Malone's night in Salt Lake.